안녕하세요. Limpeh, Singapore 남자입니다. 안녕하세요 여러분들. 오늘 주제는요, 한국 서울의 주택에 대한 얘기를 하도록 하겠습니다. 네. So today I just want to talk about this thing called Jutaek in Seoul. Now Jutaek is essentially the old style buildings in Seoul, right? Which used to be like how Seoul looked like everywhere before this high-rise building starts appearing. Let's take a look. And there's Jutaeks over there. Typically built along slopes of hills like this. They tend to be very old, very clustered together, and somewhat inconvenient with very narrow streets. Let's take a look. From up here you can see the division between the new city and the old Seoul city, which today they call the Jutaek. You see, behind all these glamorous big buildings, typically along the slope of hills, you get those old Jutaek, which was once what every housing in Seoul looks like. So let's take a walk down into the streets of this Jutaek and see what it's like. Let's go. So here I am at the foot of one such cluster of Jutaek. 한번 가보자. Let's go and check it out together. What it is like walking through a traditional old style city here in Seoul. You notice that there's a lot of shops around, and it's usually uphill, as you can see. These old Jutaeks are usually built along the slopes of hills. That's why if you come to Seoul, and you can almost only find all these red brick Jutaeks along slopes of, mainly along slopes of hills, but of course not 100%. As you can see, these are like usually low rise, no elevator, small alleyways, up to about 3 to 4 stories. As you can see, just a 2-story one here. I'll say this one looks really rather old, but could pass off as kind of a bungalow style, of a detached, semi-detached kind of style in Singapore. As you see, small little roads leading deeper into the Jutaek. I'll call this a Jutaek Mall, which is a Jutaek village. But of course, in like the early days, 50s or 60s, before the days of high-rise, all of Seoul looked like this. And this is a relatively new building here. 4 stories, no elevators. Let's take a walk down one of these lanes. As you can see, just snowed. And it's kind of really slippery and very dangerous to walk. The thing about the roads in this kind of Jutaek is that it's really narrow and very slippery when it snows or rains. And you will see that it's usually very badly lit at night. And as you can see, walking all alone, let's say you're going back home like at night, 11 or 12 p.m. and going through these little corridors on your own with poor lighting could actually be rather scary. So it's exiting one of these very narrow corridors. As you can see, there are stairs going up into the rooftops. As you could have watched in a lot of Korean dramas, the rooftops. Oh, I almost fell. Oh, very slippery going up here with all this snow. Here's another look at. Let's go deeper. Let's go deeper and see what's behind here. As you can see, for most dramas, the rooftops tend to be where a lot of family activities takes place as well. Well, can you imagine walking through this place alone at night? There's no form of lighting. Oh, there's one light over there. Okay, but I can still see that it will be very badly lit at night. Oh, I see the thing. Really looks like one of those Korean cop movies where they, usually chase the bad guys through this kind of alleyways. Oh, it's all snow and ice here. Very hard to walk on. That's why the real Koreans aren't like Southeast Asians. They're not that big a fan of snow because it makes their life very dangerous and very inconvenient. Check out my other video on why snowy days are not all that good. As you can see, even though the streets are very narrow, sometimes people drive here and they just park here like this. It always makes me wonder how they get out of here. Okay, so this goes onto one of the main roads here, and as you can see, along this kind of main road there will be a lot of shops as well, convenience shops, and of course this kind of very classic long steep stairways leading further up hills. You may have seen some of these scenes in Korean dramas as well. As you can see, both sides all red brick walk-up buildings. Here, going up to this building. And these are actually very cheap to rent. If you were to rent, it's about one room is about $400-500 US a month, I think. And some you don't even need to place a deposit. But of course it varies from place to place. You have to do your own research. That's not the point of this video. The point of this video is to really give you guys a walkthrough experience of what such a Jutaek mall or this kind of old neighborhoods are like. Take a look, these are really old buildings. And as you can see here, there's only like one light here, one light over there, and I bet it's actually yellow in color. So if you come back home at night with this yellow light, it can get pretty scary if you're like walking back alone late at night. Here's a look back at how steep this is. We came from all the way down there, from there where the car is. We're almost at the top of the hill, and as you can see very nicely here, there are exercise facilities and a nice park, which is essentially the hill itself. It's very beautiful when it snows, but I doubt people actually enjoy it very much because it gets very slippery and very dangerous, especially as you can see the roads are all very steep here, built along the slope of this hill. As you can see here, this is a very old building. Actually looks abandoned. So that ends our little trip up into this old city of Seoul. I hope you guys had a pretty good feel of what this kind of old neighborhoods are like. A lot of people are still living in this kind of conditions, which I wouldn't say is the best of conditions. And yeah, and in fact actually this kind of old buildings and old neighborhoods are very rapidly being demolished. In fact, the other side of this neighborhood has already been demolished to give way to apartments. So I'll guess that in the not so long future, it'll be pretty hard to find this kind of neighborhoods in Seoul as the redevelopment speeds up here in Seoul, right? So yep, I hope you guys enjoy this little tour and find it useful, informative. See you guys in my next video. Annyeong.